Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to the 9 p.m. live English edition. Here are the top stories. To the late Anglais, a former member of the parliament. The Minister of Transport inspects the work on the Guru Galafi section. For the international news, Australia records its highest daily increase due of the COVID-19 pandemic. Hello, welcome to our newsroom for having the news in details. The President of the Republic, His Excellency Mr. Ismail Omar Guelleh, today Monday paid a vibrant tribute to the memory of the late Anglais, a former parliamentarian Djiboutian who passed away last night. In his posthumous tribute, President Guelleh described the late former political leader as a valiant patriot who always worked for the brotherhood of all components of our nation. It's continuously commended the esteem and respect of Djiboutian of all generations and community through its accessibility and helpfulness, said the head of state. His death is synonymous with the disappearance of one of the most appreciated and well-known notables in our country. The president expressing his sad condolences to the family, relatives, and friends of the late former parliamentarian. The late Anglais, who passed away last night, was a former leading figure in the Djiboutian political landscape. Having served for many years as a member of the National Assembly, he leaves behind an important family, including, among others, the current Minister of Energy in charge of natural resources, Mr. Yunus Ali Gedi. Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. Now, a meeting. The Kuwait's ambassador to Djibouti, Mr. Yusuf Al-Hussein, during a farewell visit to the embassy after his diplomatic career. The meeting took place in the presence of the advisor to the Speaker of the House of Representatives for Arab Affairs, Mr. Ali Abdan Abdo. During this meeting, the two parties discussed the existing bilateral relation and discussed cooperation between the two brotherly countries and the means to bring them the wider horizons. Mr. Yusuf has been in the country for 4 years as Kuwait's ambassador. Now, a high-level delegation led by the Executive Secretary of the Intergovernmental Authority on Development, IGAD, Mr. Wakri Gibiye, who visited the quarantine camp at Ar Ausa in the Ali Sabih region to provide tools and personal protective equipment against the coronavirus for the benefits of the refugees residing there. The delegation was accompanied during this visit by the Minister of the Interior, Mr. Mohamed Ahmed Sheikh, the Executive Secretary of the National Relief and Refugee Office, Mr. Hussein Darar, and the European Union representative in Djibouti, Mr. Patrick Jason. This was received by the delegation on its arrival. The prefect of the region, Mr. Musa Adet Bigane, and the director of the Department of Health and Community Development at the Government Authority for Development, Mrs. Fadiha Abubakar Alwan. The IGAD Executive Secretary delivered sewing machines and other equipment to make personal protective masks against the coronavirus for the benefit of the refugees in Ali Sabih and Holhol camps. The aid was financed by the European Union. The CEO of Honors thanked the IGAD officials for this aid. He promised to hand it over to different groups of refugees in the camp Ali Ade and Holhol. In a speech addressed to him on this occasion, the Executive Secretary for IGAD, Wakri Gibiye, let's listen to him.
So we hope that it will help for the refugees at this very critical time. So this is a delivery from the guards and the support of our partners. So to you, Your Excellency.
For his part, His Excellency, the Minister of the Interior, Mr. Mohamed Ahmed Sheikh, spoke of the importance of this opportunity to support the refugee residing in the country. Let's listen to him.
Refugee people, we appreciate the gift and we thank you very much to you and to the European Union also. And I hope IGAD, not IGAD, but Honors will do a proper use of those machines and they will learn how to produce the masks according to the request. next time we visit the camp, maybe you will see the product, the final product, and we'll be proud of what we've done with the machines. Once again, thank you very much.
Health sector, His Excellency the Health Minister, Mr. Mohammed, today received the representative of the World Food Program (WFP), Mrs. Shimoka. The meeting was attended by the Ministry Technical Advisor, Mr. Abdelkader Mohamed Garat. During the meeting, the Ministry of Health praised the effort of the WFP representative in Djibouti. He thanked the United Nations organization for its support to the health. Now, the Women and Family Ministry, in cooperation with the National Union of Djiboutian Women, organized this morning at the People's Palace a workshop to present the report of the African Women's Contract and Annual Book on Gender Statistics. The event took place under the chairmanship of the Ministry of Women and Family, Mrs. Moumina Ahmed Hassan, and the Vice President of the National Union of Women of Djibouti, Mrs. Hassana. The event was attended by the representative of the United Nations Development Program in Djibouti and the representative of the Council of Ministers, as well as several officials from relevant ministries. The African Women's Contract, launched by the African Union in Nairobi in October 2010, has already implemented all the recommendations of the national and global cooperation. For 2 decades, women's rights in Djibouti had experienced unprecedented development with a population of approximately 50 per 100 women. And now, in a speech addressed to her on that occasion, the Vice President of the UNFD, Mrs. Hassana, let's listen to her.
Nous devons nous réjouir de nombreux acquis de cette dernière décennie.
We must be pleased with many achievements of the last decade, starting with the creation of a ministry entirely dedicated to women, but also the strengthening of the place of women in our society. Moreover, the great UNFD for a cause as just as that of a woman and children under the leadership of our First Lady, President of our organization. Thanks to the determined and immutable collaboration between the National Union of Djiboutian Women and the Ministry of Women and Family, women have seen their situation evolve in all areas defined by the objectives of sustainable development. Ladies and gentlemen, our organization, a strong defender of the women's cause, worked for the promotion of maternal and child health, the fight against poverty, the promotion of girls' and women's empowerment and education, the fight against food insecurity, and so on. In the context of its missions to combat gender-based violence, the progress made by our organization in this area is evident.
The Women and Family Minister, Mr. Moumina, mentioned that her department has promoted and integrated women in all fields. Let's listen to what she said.
Statistique du genre se propose d'être un outil d'information et de sensibilisation qui permet de disposer.
The Gender Statistical Yearbook is intended to be an information and awareness-raising tool that provides factual information on the situation and development of women in the political, economic, social, and cultural fields. The African Women's Decade, launched by the African Union in Nairobi on 15 October, will only be truly carried forward if it is translated into actions. Acts such as policies, strategies, initiatives, and programs, taking decisions at the international and regional levels without things, having commitments in others. This is another one. This is another step, but acting on the ground and serving a population of 1 in order to honor its commitments, but of 2 in order to better serve its people, is another thing that the Republic of Djibouti has set out to do, and above all, so as not to be on the sidelines of the other countries of the world.
The Ministry of Transport and Infrastructures visited the border area of Galafi in order to follow closely the progress of the project to rebuild part of the National Road Number 1 linking the Giri and Galafi. He was accompanied by Minister Musa Mohammed Ahmed, his closest assistant, the governor, the prefect of Tadjour region, the head of the regional council, local representative of the region, and the director of Port Corridor. Prior to the arrival of the minister and the accompanying delegation, he stopped at the company's headquarters under the name of Construction Markets Hude Nippon Building. The minister received clarification from officials of the 2 construction companies. The purpose of this visit was to take a close look at the progress of the project to restore the national road between the Giro and Galafi. The Japanese agreement has financed this 20-kilometer project to control rainwater so as not to impede the movement of Ethiopian trucks passing through the pass. The Japanese ambassador to Djibouti, who was accompanied by the Minister of Transport and Equipment, expressed his satisfaction at the completion of the most important and significant part of the project for the reconstruction of the number one national road linking the Giro and Galafi. Let's listen to him.
Aujourd'hui, c'était une occasion pour moi de rendre visite au
Today
site
was an
des
opportunity
travaux,
for me to visit the
sur,
site of the works of the RN1 with the presence of Mr. Musa Ahmed, Minister of Transport and Equipment. This is the construction project of the section of about 20 kilometers of RN1. The work is in a very good progress. Already now, the majority of the work has been completed. We have started the works and we hope that it will be completed towards the end of the year to greatly facilitate the traffic that connects on the strategic corridor between Ethiopia and Djibouti. This is a project that is being financed entirely by the government of Japan on this 20-kilometer stretch to the tune of almost 40 million US dollars. It is therefore a symbolic project based on the relationship of friendship and fraternity between Japan and the Republic of Djibouti.
On the sideline of this inspection visit, the Minister of Transport and Equipment, Mr. Musa Ahmed, met with local representatives of the Yobaki region. Discussion focused on the social and economic benefits that this important corridor offers and the employment opportunities it also creates. The Minister also heard the notable demands and problems they face in their daily situation. The Minister has committed to respond to these demands. Now, His Excellency the Minister of Labor in charge of Administration Reform, Mr. Ismail Ibrahim Roble, held an important meeting this morning in his office at the ministerial complex to discuss the prospect for bilateral relations between the two countries with a high-level French delegation. The French delegation also included dignitaries from the French embassy in Djibouti, headed by the French ambassador, and the high-ranking French military personalities, including the head of the French military base stationed in the country and the officials from the Ministry of Labor and the National Institute of Public Administration. The meeting provided an opportunity to discuss the historical bilateral relations between the two friendly countries. In his speech, the Minister of Labor in charge of Administration Reform, Mr. Ismail Ibrahim, referred to the importance of these agreements. Let's listen to him.
Cet accord de subvention, aussi modeste soit-il,
This agreement, modest as it might be, serves as a first basis for a partnership with the French embassy, which we hope that it will continue in the long term. A long-term partnership straining itself to be consolidated in the coming years because we have great and high hopes in the transformation of our unique training institution for public officials. Certainly, INAP needs long-term, high-quality support from those we can count on every day, every moment to carry out the ambitions expressed in the reform to which we have committed ourselves. Would you like to have an efficient and effective administration in Djibouti that is, above all, at the service of the citizens of Djibouti? The INAP is the main instrument that the state has equipped itself with to strengthen the transformation of the administration. We have placed training at the heart of our concerns, and we are convinced of this. We discuss it every day to make training the only lever for promotion in Djibouti.
International news now. Australia records its largest single-day increase in COVID-19 infection and deaths on Monday, with an additional 549 cases and 10 deaths reported on Sunday. Let's listen to this report.
Australia recorded its largest single-day increase of COVID-19 infections and deaths on Monday, with an additional 549 cases and 10 deaths reported on Sunday. All deaths and almost all confirmed cases occurred in the southeastern state of Victoria, where the number of cases has increased over the past month despite the reintroduction of social distancing restrictions. The state also reported 6 more deaths on Monday, bringing the national death toll to 161. Nursing homes for the elderly in Victoria has become a particular concern for the authorities, as most of those who died from the virus are between 17 and 18 years of age.
This is it for this edition of 9 p.m. Thank you for staying with us and have a wonderful evening.